The billionaire overworked the single dad for weeks, until she showed up at his door at midnight. Intro hook. Imagine working double shifts, 6 days a week, for a boss who never once looked you in the eye. No thank you, no recognition, just a stack of tasks waiting on your desk before you even hung up your coat. Now imagine doing all of that while raising a 7-year-old daughter alone, packing her lunch before sunrise, kissing her forehead while she slept, and praying she never noticed how tired her dad really was. That was Marcus Webb's life. And he had almost convinced himself that this was just how things were, until the night everything changed. Until she showed up at his door at midnight. Subscribe invite. Before we dive into this story, if you love tales that remind you what truly matters in life, you are in the right place. Welcome to Heartfelt Moments, where every story is a reminder that kindness still exists in this world. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment below telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your day. We read every single one. Main story. Marcus had worked for Caldwell Industries for 3 years. The company was owned by Diana Caldwell, a billionaire who had built her real estate empire from the ground up. People in the office spoke about her in hushed tones. Sharp, demanding, brilliant, but never warm. Marcus was a mid-level project coordinator. He was good at his job, maybe even great. But ever since his wife passed away 2 years ago from a sudden illness, he had been running on empty. He worked hard because he had no choice. His daughter, Lily, needed school clothes, groceries, and a roof over her head. So Marcus showed up every single day, quietly, faithfully, without complaint. For 6 weeks straight, Diana had been rolling out a massive new development project. Deadlines were brutal. Meetings ran past 8 o'clock at night. Marcus stayed late every time, arranging for his neighbor Mrs. Patterson to sit with Lily. He missed 3 of Lily's school events in 1 month. He told her it was temporary. He told himself the same thing. One evening, while everyone else packed up and headed home, Marcus sat alone at his desk, rubbing his eyes and staring at a spreadsheet that blurred together like watercolors. He did not notice Diana walking past until she stopped. She rarely stopped. "You're still here," she said flatly. "Yes, ma'am." Finishing the Hartwell projections, he replied without looking up. She said nothing else and walked on. Marcus figured that was that. But Diana had noticed something she had not allowed herself to notice before, a framed photo on the corner of his desk. A little girl with pigtails and a gap-toothed smile, holding up a finger-painted rainbow like it was a trophy. She had seen that photo 100 times walking by. That night, for some reason, she actually saw it. She stopped by hour the next morning and quietly pulled Marcus's personnel file. She read about his wife. She read about Lily. She sat with that information longer than she expected to. 2 nights later, at almost midnight, there was a knock at Marcus's door. He was still awake. He usually was, sitting at the kitchen table helping Lily finish a diorama for school, even though his eyes burned with exhaustion. He opened the door and felt his heart stop for just a second. Diana Caldwell was standing on his porch, holding a large paper bag and wearing, of all things, a simple gray coat instead of her usual tailored suit. She looked almost like a regular person. "I owe you an apology," she said. No greeting, no preamble, just the truth. Marcus blinked. "I'm sorry. I've been pushing my team, pushing you, without ever once asking what it cost you to give so much." She held out the bag. "I stopped at that Italian place on 5th. I didn't know if your daughter liked pasta, but I took a guess." Marcus stood frozen in the doorway. He genuinely did not know what to say. Then a small voice floated in from behind him. "Daddy, who is it?" Lily appeared in her pajamas, rubbing one eye, her pigtails lopsided from sleep. She looked up at Diana with zero hesitation the way only children can and said, "Are you Daddy's boss? He talks about work a lot." Diana laughed, a real laugh, not the polished kind she used in boardrooms. "I am. And I came to say I'm sorry for keeping him away from you so much." Lily considered this very seriously. Then she nodded and said, "Okay. Do you want to see my diorama? It's about the rainforest." That night, Diana Caldwell sat at Marcus Webb's kitchen table, eating reheated pasta and listening to a 7-year-old explain the life cycle of a poison dart frog. She stayed for almost an hour. The following Monday, things shifted. Diana restructured the project timeline and distributed the workload more fairly across the whole team. She started learning people's names, not just their titles. She asked Marcus, privately, if there was any flexibility he needed in his schedule to be present for Lily. Marcus nearly had to excuse himself before his eyes gave him away. In the weeks that followed, the office felt different. Lighter. People noticed. Kindness, it turned out, was contagious. When leadership leads with humanity, people rise to meet it. Closing. Marcus never forgot that midnight knock. Not because a billionaire brought him dinner, but because one person chose to see him, fully and finally, as a human being carrying more than anyone knew. We never truly know the weight others carry behind their quiet smiles and steady work. But here is what this story whispers to all of us: a single act of genuine kindness can rewrite someone's entire story. It costs nothing to truly see another person. And sometimes, all it takes is one knock at the door. Be the person who knocks.